You don't need another strategy. Here's what you actually need to figure out why you can't implement the things that you already know. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storm, former psychologist, now business coach, and I help women just like us to build profitable private practices, usually in under 12 months. Being neurodivergent means I see the patterns that other coaches miss, but it also means I'm a truth teller, so I'm not interested in giving you any business advice that sounds good or might be trending, but doesn't actually work for us. Welcome to the Practice Momentum podcast, where we're going to get your private practice sorted out. Thanks so much for being here, and let's get on with the next episode. Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Practice Momentum podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh, lots has been happening behind the scenes. So yes, I will start by going through like serious businessy stuff. And then if anybody would like to kick on, hear a little bit about what's happening, you're most welcome. If you're done with the business stuff and you just want to click off, great. Okay, so a couple of days ago, I think I tried to record this over the weekend when it happened. So it's that recent, it's like only 2 or 3 days ago. But Instagram made another big change to the algorithm, and I thought it might be helpful for those of you who are posting on Instagram, which I know it's a lot. If you're posting on Instagram, it's really important that you know, right? Because you can't just like post and pray. I think that's what happens sometimes. It's like posting and praying, because the reality is really once you start diving into this, you realize just how complicated it is. And I just have so much more respect for people who do this all day, every day, because it's quite complicated. So yeah, if you're posting and you have not got an understanding really of the machinations of all of it, it'll be why you're not getting any reach. So let's fix it today. I'm going to give you the updates so that, yeah, your life just gets a little bit easier. Okay, so basically, hang on, I've got the updates, but first off, I want to read you something. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I have a very helpful one for you today, actually, because we're going to talk about the latest Instagram changes. And the reason why is because you know how I feel about it. I'm like, unless you know what you're doing with Instagram, and not many people do, I think it's just a waste of time because it is so complicated. But if you are somebody who's like, no, I'm going to do it, great, this is for you. So this hopefully will give you a bit of an understanding of the new lay of the land, and you'll be able to update the way that you post and how you're doing it so that you can actually start to get some inquiries and bookings or supervisees for your group programs, all the things, right? So to give you context, the head of Instagram I think it was the 1st of January, made a little bit of an announcement. So I'm going to read it out to you now because it's important that you have the context for what we're going to be discussing today. So the thing is, he wrote, the key risk that Instagram faces is that as the world changes more quickly, the platform fails to keep up. Looking forward to 2026, one major shift. Authenticity is becoming infinitely reproducible. Everything that made creators matter, the ability to be real, to connect, to have a voice that couldn't be faked, is now accessible to anyone with the right tools. Deepfakes are getting better. AI generates photos and videos that are indistinguishable from captured media. Power has shifted from institutions to individuals because the internet made it so anyone with a compelling idea could find an audience. The cost of distributing information is zero. Individuals, not publishers or brands, established that there's a significant market for content from people. Trust in institutions is at an all-time low. We have turned to self-captured content from creators that we trust and admire. We like to complain about all of the AI slop, but there's a lot of amazing AI content. Even the quality AI content has a look though. It's too slick, the skin is too smooth, things like that. And that's going to change. We're going to start to see more realistic AI content. Authenticity is becoming a scarce resource, driving more demand for creator content, not less. The bar is shifting from can you create to can you make something that only you could create. Unless you're under 25, you probably think of Instagram as a feed of square photos, polished makeup, skin smoothing, and beautiful landscapes. But that feed is dead. People stopped sharing personal moments to feed years ago. The primary way people share now is in the DMs. They share blurry photos and shaky videos of daily experiences, shoe shots, and unflattering candids. And it's this raw aesthetic that has bled into public content and across art forms. The camera companies are betting on the wrong aesthetic. They're competing to make everybody look like a professional photographer from 2015. But in a world where AI can generate flawless images, the professional look becomes the tell. Flattering imagery is cheap to produce and boring to consume. People want content that feels real. Smart creators are leaning into unproduced, unflattering images. In a world where everything can be perfect, imperfection becomes the signal. Rawness isn't just aesthetic preference anymore. It's now the proof. It's defensive. It's a way of saying, hey, this is real because it's imperfect. Relatively quickly, AI will create any aesthetic you like, including an imperfect one that presents as authentic. At that point, we'll need to shift our focus to who says something instead of what is being said. For most of my life, I could safely assume photographs or videos were largely accurate captures of moments that happened. This is clearly no longer the case, and it's going to take us years to adapt. We're going to move from assuming what we see is real by default to starting to look at things with skepticism, paying attention to who it is that's sharing something and why. This is going to be uncomfortable. We're genetically predisposed to believing our eyes. Platforms like Instagram will do good work identifying AI content, but it's going to get worse over time because the AI is going to get better and better. It will be more practical to fingerprint real media than fake media. Camera manufacturers will cryptographically sign images at capture, creating a chain of custody. Labeling is only part of the solution, though. We need to surface much more context about the accounts that are sharing the content so that people can make informed decisions about who to follow and what to consume. People want to know who is behind the account. In a world of infinite abundance and infinite doubt, the creators who can maintain trust and signal authenticity by being real, by being transparent, and by being consistent will stand out. We need to build the best creative tools, label AI generated content, verify authentic content, surface credibility signals about who's posting, and continue to improve ranking for originality. Instagram is going to have to evolve in a number of ways and fast. So that's the whole post, right? Now, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, or maybe been in my little world for a while, I have been banging this drum for the longest time, telling all of my clients, stop putting the AI stuff out there. What you're just hearing now from the head of Instagram is that content that's original is going to be ranked. That means not just images, but text. So for many of us in private practice, we tend to use ChatGPT wrongly, I should say. What I mean by that is you go in, you have a conversation, you say to Chatty, hey, go make me this post. It makes you the post. You go back and forth a little bit, and then you just copy and paste the whole lot into your social media. In this case, we're talking about Instagram, but could be anywhere. And then what some people will do is they will just spam the internet with that same piece of content cross platforms. And that is what is getting you into trouble. You are not literally getting into trouble. What I mean by that is these platforms, as you just heard, aren't sharing your content. So you could post 20 times a day, and if your post is clearly written by AI, Instagram's like, nope, not showing anybody. They're going to be showing, and they're telling you here that they're going to be showing and preferencing original content. So stop using ChatGPT to write your posts. It's a brainstorming tool. It's not a copy tool. Okay. Rant over. I have practical insights because the Instagram algorithm changed on the weekend. So it's going to be very, very helpful for you to be aware of what's going on. So, okay, first thing, not in any particular order, is the primary metric now on Instagram is views. Okay, so what this means is that a view will only count when somebody opens your post or they watch your content. So before the weekend, even if it just popped up on somebody's feed and they scrolled, that counted as a view. That's not going to happen anymore, right? So your views are probably going to go down. Views have replaced likes and comments as the headline metric across all formats. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a static post, your carousels, your reels, right? The views are the main metric now. What this means for us is that your real reach is more accurately reflected now. Vanity metrics don't matter. Content that genuinely stops people from scrolling is going to outperform pretty pictures and very polished, heavily edited pictures, and of course AI generated posts. The recommendation here is to don't worry about the likes. Now, again, if you've been in my world for a little while, you've seen, like, on a regular basis, it's almost every couple of weeks, I get a bucket load of badges from Facebook that give me heaps of bonus reach, right? People normally pay for that. That's what a Facebook ad does, gives you like lots and lots of extra reach. I get it free. And I barely have anybody ever like or comment or share or save or any of that, right? And I've been, so many people will say to me, oh, well, I don't get any likes, I don't get any comments. It doesn't matter. It's not about that when it comes to getting a client. It's not about that. And Instagram is telling you it is not about that. Instagram is saying stop obsessing over those kinds of things because they don't matter. Instagram's saying focus on content that's going to make your ideal client want to stop and read it or want to stop and watch and listen to it. It's the first thing. Okay, the second thing, the audition system, right? So new posts are shown to a small test group of non-followers first. So you might remember this, those of you who do reels, you know how I had the trial feature for a little while there, and it would show your reel to people who don't normally follow you. It's kind of similar to this. Strong early engagement means that you are going to be rewarded with a wider distribution. But if you have weak early engagement, your reach is going to be severely restricted, okay? Throttled down reach, even to your own followers, which is already pretty bad. I mean, the current statistic is if you, and I said this again on a previous podcast as well, but it was something like if you've got 500 followers, your post goes into the feeds of like 4. That's what I mean. Like, it's crazy town. But that's changing now. So what they're saying is going to happen, they're going to look at your piece of content, they're going to show it to people who don't follow you, see how those people react to it. If they don't open it, click on it, watch it, read it, then Instagram's just not going to show it to anybody. Okay. In terms of the work that you're doing, it means that if your first few minutes of posting fall flat, fewer of your existing followers are going to see it, and people who don't follow you won't see it. The things that are very important for you to think about when you're going to post now are the timing and the hook quality, because these two things are going to directly affect whether your community even sees your content. So the hook is the text that you put on the top of the post or the caption or the reel. It's that headline, like you see on the newspaper, that makes people want to sit up and take notice. You've got to get very, very good at writing hooks, but you also have to know when to hit publish. Okay. No point publishing something on your timeline because you've got a cancellation and it just works for you if all your ideal clients are, doing school drop off and not using their phones because they're having a natter at the gate, right? Okay. You want to be posting when your audience is most active. You can easily find that out just by checking your insights, and make the first couple of seconds of your reel or the first line of your caption something that's going to make people open it right away. So it's got to be compelling, right? The number one ranking signal on Instagram from the weekend on is average watch time. So it's favoring reels now. If you're not a reels person, you can still post, you can still be successful, but it's going to take you longer and it's going to be like more work. If you do a reel, it's going to be a lot easier. So Instagram now is heavily weighting how long people watch your content, especially past the 3-second mark for reels, and rewatches are also tracked. Okay. So what you want to be doing is posting like educational content about therapy topics that are specific to your ideal client that they want to watch or rewatch or save or share with their communities, right? So this is what you need to be talking about now. You want to make sure that your hook captures viewers who will stay watching it for longer than 3 seconds. It sounds so ridiculous, doesn't it? Like 3 seconds. But I mean, Instagram is saying that's a long time and they're going to reward you by letting your reel be shown to some of your followers. I mean, it's crazy town. You can use a strong opening question or statement, keep them paced, keep them engaging throughout. Okay. The next thing is DM shares are weighted 3 to 5 times more than likes. Okay, so you could have a post that's got no likes on it, but if people are in the DMs and they're sharing it with all of their friends, you would never know, but your content is going to take off. And it's because this is happening behind the scenes. So whenever someone shares your content to a friend via a direct message, Instagram treats that as a really strong signal and pushes that content to a wider audience so that more people can see it. So what you want to be doing is creating, as we should have always been, relatable, shareable content. Okay. That is going to drive more reach than posts that just get likes. Okay. So we want your ideal client to see whatever you're putting up and go, oh my gosh, she gets me. Do you know what I mean? Create content that people will want to save, read, stuff like that. You might want to do posts around relatable quotes or myth-busting posts or self-check questions or validating content about, whatever challenges your ideal client faces. The next thing is authenticity over polish. So AI generated content, whether it's ChatGPT or you're making your images, whatever, it is not going to get a look in compared to original content. So Instagram has explicitly stated that raw, human, imperfect written and visual content will now be outperforming produced content because AI has made the posts lately feel cheap and commonplace. This is a problem for Instagram because it's affecting people's experiences, which means people will be turning to other platforms. Instagram want to keep people on that platform, right? So they're trying to fix it. And they're saying, okay, the people who are on Instagram are saying they're just sick of like the AI videos, the ChatGPT posts, the M dashes, the this, the that. We want original content. That's what's behind it. So for us, therapists, You want to feel, I know, like you should be really well put together and you should be like quite professional and all of those kinds of things, which understandably we are health professionals, right? But this shift in the algorithm favors you yourself, you being authentic, not crying on camera authentic, but just you being you. Okay. Stop all the AI stuff. If you're doing editing of reels and things like that, stop. You don't need to do it anymore. Instagram have their own editing tool that they're recommending that you use. Apparently it's been recently updated just the week before last. If you're not familiar with it, I think it's called Instagram Edit or something, but it's their answer to CapCut. Anyway, a genuine reel of you just being you is going to outperform a beautifully designed graphic post every time. And Instagram's also saying that when you're writing, use your real voice, which, as you know, I've been saying it for so long. I don't even know why I have to keep saying that. I just feel like I want to say I told you so, which is so, like, I know I shouldn't, but I can't help it. Okay. Moving on. Topic clarity rewards consistent accounts. Okay. So accounts that stick to clear, consistent content themes get better distribution than accounts that post about unrelated topics. So yeah, what this means for you is niching. If you don't have a niche, again, like it's going to take you so much longer to build an audience. You have to have an audience. Otherwise, when you do go to post about your availability for the group supervision or your upcoming workshop or your retreat or your one-to-one therapy sessions, it's like screaming into the void. There's nobody there. You can post till the cows come home and you won't get any nibbles, right? So we do want to be building an audience. And Instagram's now saying, hey, if you want to get more reach, if you want us to show your stuff to more people, you have to be posting about the same type of stuff, right? So that would probably be a problem for someone like me. Like, I haven't posted on my Instagram for 40 weeks. And get this, like, this is probably a whole other episode, but get this. I gained followers. I know. I gained like 300 followers or something. It's something ridiculous. I'll do a proper post and I'll screenshot all my insights and everything to show you. I gained 300 followers. I didn't post for 40 weeks. And the reason that it happened was because I was just in a space where I was thinking to myself, do you know what? Like, I can't be sitting here wasting time repurposing content for multiple platforms and everything and whatever. So I just decided that I was going to put a pin in it for 12 months. That's what I did. And then I can't remember, I'm sure there's a podcast episode about it, but I think like I locked myself out of my account. It was so complicated. I didn't want to delete it because I wanted it there in case I wanted to like start it up again. And I deactivated it, but I couldn't remember my password, and then I hadn't set up the 2-factor authentication, and you know, it becomes a thing. And when you're neurodivergent, like things become like massive things. And so, yeah. But anyway, I think it was last week or the week before, somebody asked me to audit their Instagram account for them. And I went to try and get into my account. And would you believe, like, it actually opened up. I could not believe it. I was so happy. Anyway, it's back. So then I was able to see all my insights. I actually gained all these followers, but I wasn't posting. Anywho, you want to stick to the same stuff, right? The same type of content. What I was saying there was I don't know that Instagram's my platform because, you know me, I do like to jump around a fair bit. I mean, I would say probably over the last 12 months, most of my content has been really geared around, you know, marketing and visibility and things like that. Not intentionally, but it's just I'm listening to you and seeing what you're asking for. So that's what I'm trying to help you out with. Like when I see the questions, I'm hoping that my podcast episode is the answer. That's where I'm coming from. But I do like to jump around. Like, as you know, I do the after the show segments for the people who want to kick on afterwards. That's not going to work on Instagram. Anywho, if your account jumps between all different types of therapy tips and pet photos and business ideas and this, that, and the other, what you're doing is you're confusing the algorithm, and as a result, your reach suffers. So just don't be a Brooklyn, basically. Don't be posting about here, there, and everywhere. Stick to your thing. Okay. The next one is original content is going to be getting on average 60% more reach, and reposts are now going to be penalized. So I was going to say back in the day, but it was only 3 days ago, right? Up until then, you could do things like, I want to say it's a little bit sneaky. It's not sneaky at all. I don't know why I feel like it is, but you could go back through your Instagram profile and you could have a look at all of your feeds, and you could find the one that had the most activity on it, and you could just repost it. You were allowed to do that. And maybe you might change the heading, or maybe you might change the picture, right? So if it was me, it's probably got a picture of me. So then I'll be like, oh, wow, this post did so well. I'm just going to repost it. So then I would change a picture of me to a picture of Buddy and I, right? That's what people used to do, and that's called recycling and reposting, okay? So doing that is now going to be actively down ranked, okay? And if you do it more than 10 times in a month, as lots of people do, because that used to be a sneaky, I'm saying sneaky, it's not, but it's not sneaky. I don't know why I'm saying that, but it was a hidden growth strategy that people used. But Instagram is saying, hey, we're on to you. And if you do it more than 10 times in 30 days, you are going to get excluded from reach altogether. So I don't think that's going to affect anybody in our community. Wink, wink. You know who you are. Okay. Sharing other people's reels or reposting content from other therapists' accounts could hurt your reach, even if it's relevant and educational. Why? Because it's not yours. Because it's not original to you. It's original to, like, if I posted, I don't know, let's say I was you and I were in the same kind of niche, and I put up like this really cool post about something to do with anxiety and ADHD, and you were like, oh my gosh, I'm totally stealing that. That's so great. And you take it and you remix it and you put it on your own profile. You're going to get pushed down the line because it was original to me. It's not original to you, even though you've remixed it, right? Done. Can't do it anymore. Because I'm your business coach and I'm not dealing with I'm not writing posts about grief and loss for pets and things like that. If there was something of mine that you wanted to share, different in this scenario because it's not from the same field. Okay. Next thing, always create your own content. Even a simple graphic made in Canva with your own words outperforms a shared post. If you want to reference somebody else's work, put it in your words and credit them in the caption. You're still going to get penalized, but maybe not as much. Okay, the next thing, longer form content now gets extra reach. So I think I haven't checked lately because, as I said, like, I don't use Instagram myself anymore, but I think the character count used to be 1,200. I'm not sure. I'm sure I could go and Google it. Let me go and Google it. I'm just thinking, like, why not just do it now? Let me just check for you. Caption length for Instagram. Okay, so we've got a bit more now. You can have, it used to be 1,200. It's now 2,200. So 2,200 characters. That includes the emojis and the hashtags and things like that. Okay, so where am I? Yeah. Instagram's now surfacing longer storytelling reels. So they're wanting a reel that goes for like 3+ minutes. They're wanting a longer form captions, right? Why? Because as a platform, they want to keep people on it. So they're going to reward you for keeping people on their platform with captivating content. Now, I think it's going to be a bit of a stretch if they're saying, listen, we'll give you bonus if somebody looks at your stuff for 3 seconds. I mean, what have you got to do to capture somebody's attention for 3+ minutes? So it's going to be over 3 minutes. Yeah, and your reels are going to get a lot more reach in the explore section of Instagram if they go longer than 3 minutes. People are watching longer than 3 minutes. I think that's going to be a real stretch. I can see how that might work for people who, I don't know, are testing Amazon products or something, but I don't know how it's going to work for therapists, but we'll see how it unfolds. But this is really, really new because up until the weekend, it was very short reels and very short posts that would dominate. Okay, so if you want to explain complex topics like maybe the difference between, I don't know, anxiety and anxiety disorder and stuff like that, you now have the green light to talk a little bit more. But remember, it's not just going to be talking about boring stuff in a boring way, and you've got to be able to present on camera in a way that people are going to not be bored and they're going to tune in and watch and want to keep coming back to, right? So if you look like a deer in the headlights and you're trying to read a teleprompter and, you know, all of that, and you're very stiff, maybe reels aren't the way to go for you. You might want to just focus on long form content instead, right? Okay. Likes to reach ratio matters. So a post that's seen by, I'm just going to say 500 people again because I already used that before. Let's say a post that was seen by 500 people and that post got 40 likes. Right, that's like a lot of likes. But anyway, that is going to outrank a post that was seen by 5,000 people that got maybe 60 likes. So that's what I mean. It's the ratio that they're looking at here. They're looking at the proportional engagement. So you don't need, 500 people to look at it. You could have 10 people look at it, and if 3 or 4 gave it a like, you're going to get more reach on that post than somebody who had 100 people look at it, but only, a few looked, because of the ratio and the proportional difference, right? So smaller engaged audiences are super duper valuable. You don't need 10 million followers like you used to think that you do. What you do need is the right people, but they must be actively engaging with your content. Active engagement, you and I know the things that we can see, like the likes and shaves. I was going to say share and save. They're things that we can see, right? But the stuff that happens behind the scenes that we can't. And the reason that I know this is because I get constantly told by Facebook that my content is resonating, that's really good, and I get all these rewards and perks and benefits all the time, and not many other therapists do. And even though you can go to my Facebook business page, so that's what I'm talking about, like not on your personal profile, not in your group, on your business page, which are notoriously bad for getting reach, by the way. But anyway, the reason that I'm getting it is because of what's happening behind the scenes. So Meta has said to me, what's happening with your post, Brooklyn, is people are reading them, they're staying on the page, they're coming back and they're revisiting the posts, and they have an algorithm, they being Facebook, Meta, have an algorithm that actually measures how long people will stay on your thing. So even though somebody might not hit the heart, or they might not hit save or something like that, you would never ever know, but people are reading your stuff, they're digesting it, okay? And that's what gets rewarded. So you have to start thinking about less how many likes and all of those kinds of things, and more about what could I write that would be captivating. Like, what could I write that's going to hold somebody's attention? I was going to say trick, but it's not. My approach is, as I said a moment ago, like I want my when I said to you, I want my episode to be an answer to somebody's question. That's how I approach all my content. I always want to be treating it as I'm showing up to answer a question, and that's what's working for me. So you can steal that if you want. But again, it requires that you know your audience, and that's why you need to have a niche. If you're just saying helping everybody on their journeys and their life transitions and walking beside you in the safe space and all the BS and helping, the children and the tweens and the adolescents and the young adults and the adults and the individuals and the couples and the families and the aged with no, this is going to be a nightmare for you and you'll be like banging your head against a brick wall. That's what I'm saying. Niche every time, because as you've heard, what Instagram's saying now, they're saying they want to see you posting about the same stuff all the time. They want you to be posting consistently, and they want you to be putting in effort. They're rewarding reels that go for more than 3 minutes, that people watch for more than 3 minutes, and they're rewarding long form posts that people read and come back to. So don't just go into ChatGPT and say, write me a post that's 2,200 characters, including like hashtags and stuff, and then copy and paste it. That, because people are going to look at it, see that it's written by AI, they're going to click off, not interested. Instagram's saying people are leaving the platform because they don't want to be looking at AI content. So you're only shooting yourself in the foot with that. Okay. It's with this small audience. You don't need all of the followers. You just need the right people, as I said. And it's really now about quality over quantity. So before, the guidance was, because the algorithm and how it was doing everything chronologically. So it would put posts in your feed based on when that post was published. But now it's still important, because you just want to make sure that when you do post it, it's the time of the day or the night when most of your clients are, or ideal clients are probably going to be on Instagram. So the timing matters, but it's quality now over quantity. So before, when it was chronological, if you were doing digital marketing and you wanted to sell your PDFs for Etsy or something like that, you would have to post 10 posts a day just to make sure that you capture people. Because if you posted it first thing in the morning but somebody didn't look at her Instagram feed until lunchtime, well, she's not going to see it. It's gone. Like that train has left the station. So you had to keep posting a lot to have a chance of your stuff being shown to people. That's what was going on there. But now Instagram's saying, okay, not going to do that anymore. From now on, we want high quality posts. You can post once a day. You could just do, every second day, totally up to you, but it's about quality now. And the recommendation is have a niche, build an engaged audience of followers. That is going to be more valuable for your private practice growth than trying to hit big numbers from people who are never going to be a client. And now to Instagram, measuring and tracking the saves, right? So saves are interpreted now by the algorithm as somebody saying to themselves, oh, this is so good, I really want to come back to this. And so that's telling Instagram, hey, this is like some really high value content over here. So for you in your private practice, you want to be focusing on things like educational, resource style content, checklists, all those kinds of things. You want to be creating save-worthy content. So by that, you want to think to yourself before you post it, what would need to be in this post for my ideal client to feel so connected with it and so strongly about it that they want to come back to it later on. And that's why AI doesn't work. Only you know that. So yeah, right? That's something to consider, and this is really going to help you. So there are 3 things for you to be prioritizing now if you're going to be using Instagram. If you are a therapist and you're wanting to use it to grow, The algorithm now is genuinely working in your favor in ways that it hasn't before, but conditions apply, because it's only going to be if you lean in on the right things. That means be yourself, the way that you write, the way that you show up. The single biggest shift is that authenticity now outperforms anything else. So it's removing what was one of the biggest barriers to therapists getting clients from Instagram, right? You don't need to have a studio. You don't need a social media manager anymore. You don't need any of that, okay? You just need you to be you in all your beautiful, genuine, authentic ways. So think about building content around, what could be saved, what could be shared. Ask yourself before you hit publish, would somebody be likely to save this? Would somebody be likely to want to come back to this? And if the answer is no, rework it, refine it, edit it, improve it, right? Things that are about mental health struggles that relate to your ideal client. Here we go again, back to niche. Those things are going to travel further for you than any promotional content about your services. So stop doing things like, I've got availability, closed over Easter, discount on a package. No, you're going to get no reach. Those posts are not going to be shown, okay? The posts that Instagram want are authentic, genuine posts. So be consistent with your niche. Be consistent with the content that you share, what you're talking about, and you will get rewarded because you've got a clear identity, right? So think about who you really want to help. Think about what you want to talk with them about and stay in that lane. The more specific you can be, the better the reach and the more clear the signal is to Instagram that you're the go-to person for something, right? So this is a really, really great opportunity for those of you who are wanting to use Instagram for, attracting clients. The right people are going to self-select when your content is really super clear about who it's for. It's goodbye, lights off for any generic content. Okay, so that is that. I hope that was really, really helpful for you. I hope it's given you some insight and you've got some strategies and some tips that you can take away to help you now with all of that. If you want some help with your private practice, of course, you can email me anytime. It's just support@brooklynstorm.com, or you can head over to the website, brooklynstorm.com, and get all the answers to your private practice growth questions. Now, tomorrow is the 31st of March, which is the cutoff day for applications for Practice Momentum and Momentum Ascend. If you have any questions about that, if you've been thinking about getting some help to fix something in your business, of course, let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. But otherwise, have a beautiful, beautiful week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorm.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.